was looking for something that's a little bit more modern, but also had capacity to, or scope at least, to modify, if it wasn't already modern, into my sense of taste. So as soon as I saw the property from the inside, right from the beginning, I was thinking, well, what can I do with this to open the place up, to get that feeling of space. Interviewed 3 architects, just chose one of them, and this particular architect had experience of Cornbrook. We put out a tender with 3 builders. Cornbrook came in on the price level in between the other 2, and the reason I chose Cornbrook, not knowing too much about them at the time, was because I felt that they had thought about the project and specified a price range that seemed sensible, and that the time scale seemed sensible. What I wanted was a builder who understood the local area, would source locally, and also understand the environment that this house is built in. A builder that knew a little bit more than just building. And I wanted a reputation too, and from my research at the time, they had all of that. Trust is developed. It was a couple of months into the project that I began to see that I'd chosen the right builder. Cornbrook, I will say this honestly, Cornbrook do listen. You often find builders, well, I've certainly often found builders that will listen to you at the beginning and then go and do their own thing. Well, the quality isn't quite there. And I found that Cornbrook not only do listen, but they do check with me on a regular basis as progress is made to say, is this what you're looking for? And they understand that can evolve. So that if I've changed my mind, or if something that's appeared that wasn't originally there, and we thought, oh, this is a great idea, they're flexible enough to move with that. But they're also honest with me. They'll explain to me what the cost implications might be and also what the time implications might be. So I get an honest view from them, and I like that. I think it's been beneficial that most of this has been done by hand. I think the quality is pretty obvious when you see it. And that by doing it with such attention, I think that it's added that extra finesse to the property that you just wouldn't get with a rapidly built or rapidly renovated house. You just wouldn't get it. I wanted to make sure that the house was properly insulated. It wasn't insulated at all. We had to take the house back to brick to refit insulation, and to install a new heating system required a bare bones approach, and we had to take it right the way back to pure concrete. And to reinstall a whole new heating system, and therefore we had to rewire and replumb. So having realised that's what we had to do, we then basically had a blank sheet of paper, and from that point on I worked with Cornbrook and the architect to create a whole new house. Tiling for the kitchen was always going to be difficult because I wanted very large tiles, very heavy tiles, and I wanted tiles which were natural stone. Ideally would give me that feeling of history. So we've chosen these tiles which have got fossils in them, and they're very delicate whilst also being very heavy. It takes an experienced tiler to lay tiles of this size. The original tilers were sourced by the company where I bought the tiles, but it already became apparent that the skill set wasn't there, I have to say. Cornbrook sourced a new tiler, and his work was superb. And he has done not just the kitchen floor, he's done all the 3 bathrooms too. I've travelled the world, I've been to many 5-star hotels, and what I've realised is that the good 5-star hotels are ones where attention to detail has been, time's been spent on that, and that if you do that at the beginning, they'll retain that quality for years to come. So you've got to get it right the first time. And if you look at the bathrooms, you'll see the quality, you'll see the attention to detail that's been paid there. They've been very good on pretty much everything. I mean, what they do very well is they source expertise. So if I need tiling expertise, for example, if I need a specific type of heating expertise, or not all electricians are the same, for example. I've realised through Cornbrook, you get an electrician that can specialise in certain types of aspects of what I've done with his house. Certain types of construction engineers. So they'll source what I need. And that's been quite important with quite a lot of the unusual stuff that I've done with the house. I want the highest quality. As I said, I've spent a lot of time travelling and I want to see the kind of quality that I've seen in hotels. And that's really where Cornbrook have come up trumps, I would say. I think that no matter what they've done, I've really never had to say this is below quality. This has always been good for them, from them. And if anything, I think they've raised my standards with quite a lot of what I was looking for. Always professional, always friendly. I've never really had any issues in that area. They're fairly local, and I chose a local builder because I wanted them to be here. And Cornbrook are always here when I need them. But I think the best accolade comes from my friends and family. Every one of them, when they first saw this place when it had been finished, all said the same thing, and that was wow. They couldn't believe that this place had transformed so much from what it used to be to what it is now. I get requests on a weekly basis for friends and family, friends of friends who want to stay here. And that to me tells me that it's a good place. It's now the place that I wanted. But I want it for myself now. My ideas obviously were here and needed to be implemented, but in Cornbrook, they've implemented my ideas. That's what they've done. And my experience of builders is that's unusual. I like Cornbrook now. I mean, I would recommend Cornbrook to anyone with a small or large project. I wasn't really aware of just how much I wanted done to this property, and Cornbrook have allowed me to follow that through and work with me on that. And I would say because of Cornbrook that the property is the way it is today. Without them, with a builder that's a little less flexible,